Hey there, good people, and welcome back to the DMP Podcast YouTube channel. Been a while, but you know, the type of news that makes you kind of drop everything and make sure you get on top of it has arrived, because Adam Schefter has just posted that Myles Garrett has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams, and that's insane. That's kind of just the type of news that kind of alters your entire view of, you know, each team going into a season, right? Like, this is someone who's just come off of breaking the single season all-time sack record and is now being moved to the Super Bowl favorite, or the team I certainly thought were Super Bowl favorites going into next season. And now that only emboldens my view, because, you know, give it the trade details coming out so far, because not everything's come out as of recording, but the Rams are sending Jared Verse and their 2027 first round pick, and the upgrade from Jared Verse to Myles Garrett is going to be noticeable, because it's bloody Myles Garrett. This is the first ballot Hall of Famer for the playing for the Cleveland Browns his entire career, and now, as we've seen with, you know, Jalen Ramsey going there and getting his ring, as we've seen with Von Miller, Odell Beckham Jr., like, there have been a number of players that have had Hall of Fame level peaks, so you can definitely say for those three names that I just mentioned. And now Myles Garrett is looking to add himself to the list of players who have impressed and go to LA and, you know, get that ring. And man, it's just it's insane. Like, for both sides, for the Rams, it's an obvious move that you make, because it is Myles Buddy Garrett. Like, I don't think there's anyone out there questioning that, oh, why did the Rams make that move? Like, they're the most win now team in the entire league. Like, they've obviously got Matt Stafford, who's got a year or two left. They used their extra first round pick in their view on Ty Simpson, so they're even preparing for the future, but still having that other first round pick that they sent to the Chiefs for Trent McDuffie. So now, you're looking at an off season where they've got all pro Trent McDuffie at corner. They signed Jalen Watson as well for that cornerback position, and then they bring in multiple time all pro Hall of Fame level player in Myles Bloody Garrett to the team. And it's just it's insane, but it's obviously very warranted from a Rams perspective, because you look at a team that had, you know, Puka Nacua at his highest level, and Devontae Adams catching a touchdown multiple times a week, it was seeming at times last season. Then Matt Stafford, who is coming off of an MVP season, even in his, you know, late 30s. So this is obviously the time now where they've got to make sure that, hey, we've got to get all the horses in the stable and all our players in order to make sure that we have the best possible chance of winning a Super Bowl and sending Stafford off to the sunset in the right way. But boy, oh boy, Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, who stops him now? Like, you're looking at, in that division, Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl champions, but you lose a ton of players in that defense. Your boy Maffei's and more. You lose the Super Bowl MVP in Kenneth Walker. So now you're hoping, you know, Charbonnet and Jadarian Price, each off in the first round, can be that 1-2 punch that you had with K9 and Charbonnet last season. But, like, the Rams just have, as I said, the players on paper. I struggle to find a team in the NFL that can play with the Rams now and, you know, can go into that game as favorites or measure up, because Myles Garrett is a Los Angeles Ram now. That is just, it was mental. It's mental. It is certainly something for the Rams is an unbelievable deal, because it gets you it gets you the premier pass rusher in the league, and every offensive lineman in the NFC West is like, gosh darn it, I've got to deal with him twice a year. Like, even, you know, in the NFC in general, just when you're like, let's say the Eagles, or your the whole NFC North, right? Like your Lions, your Packers, your Bears. Like, oh, but we were trying to say like we could make a run for the NFC Championship and represent the NFC in Super Bowl, and now you're looking at it, you're saying, what, they added Myles Garrett in the Los Angeles Rams. Like, yeah, that is a seismic move of epic proportions, to say the least. From a Browns perspective, if you look at where they are in their, I guess, timeline, like, you've obviously not got your quarterback as of yet. That for the long term, you're trying to see if Deshaun Watson could get a level of performance back. You're trying to see if Shedeur Sanders can be starting quarterback in this league still. We've still got Dylan Gabriel on the roster and that, and like, so you look at that situation, you think, maybe we are better off like moving off Myles Garrett, seeing what value we can get. And with all the respects to Andrew Berry as a GM, like, Jared Verse isn't a slouch. And, you know, let me even just check his age, as I've obviously impromptu got the camera up. But like, he's obviously going into his third year, I want to say. So he's obviously young in the league and still on that rookie deal. He's 25 years old. So yeah, like, you've got someone who is, let me just check, but I believe like 7 years younger than Myles Garrett. So at least a lot more in tune with the timeline that you guys have. Oh, 30. Okay, so 5 years. You've gotten 5 years younger in that premier pass rush position, but that is obviously 5 years where Verse, who has shown signs of being that game wrecker, having that game wrecker potential in the NFL, and then you have a first round pick in the 2027 draft class that very much can, you know, propel you to build a solid nucleus around a quarterback that you hope to acquire, whether it be in the draft or other means, like having the extra first round pick. If there's a veteran who becomes disgruntled in his current situation, the Browns can say, hey, we've got a couple first round picks that we can offer you in the next draft that could help you with whatever rebuild you want to put. But yeah, I think it's certainly, I guess, from a Browns fan perspective, like, this is, you know, I mean, if you're a Browns fan who's just started supporting the last decade, Myles Garrett's probably been your favourite player in the NFL for the longest time. Like, he's obviously someone who's brought about been part of the best times in Browns franchise history, at least since they were revived in the 21st century. So you're certainly looking at today as like it's a sad day. You can't deny that. But even last year, when the trade request came up before the Super Bowl, you're like, yeah, it kind of makes sense that we would make this deal, and, you know, getting the value that you get back, at least now with Jared Verse in the first round pick. I would very much assume that there'd probably be a 28 first that also goes Cleveland's way. I mean, Les Snead, famous with the F them picks mantra, and just the type of player that Myles Garrett is and can still prove to be in this league, that Jared Verse in the first probably isn't the total price that comes through. But certainly Jared Verse is a good enough player where if you put him and 2 first round picks and maybe more, it could get you a player like Myles Garrett, which is the crown jewel certainly in this deal. But it's mental. It's astonishing. It is the trade move of at least the past 5 years, maybe the biggest move in the NFL since the Goff Stafford move a couple years back in terms of a trade. Or I'd certainly say it's bigger than Michael last year, which I guess you could argue is the biggest trade of the 5 years preceding that. But yeah, this is an unbelievable deal, and yeah, certainly one of those situations where your whole idea going into the season has been shifted because Myles Bloody Garrett is a Los Angeles Ram. Boy, oh boy. Right, yeah, that's my instant reaction. Let me know down in the comments, like, do you think the Rams are Super Bowl champions, or going to be Super Bowl champions, or at least Super Bowl favourites, as we sit here as I'm recording this on June 1st, depending on when you're watching this? And what are your thoughts? Like, what should the Browns have held on? Like, just make him a lifer, or is this the right decision? Like, yeah, Browns fans, Rams fans, I'm sure you've got a lot to say on this deal. But yeah, mental. Myles Garrett is a Los Angeles Ram. Unbelievable.